Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Lit Up with Annie. My name is Annie, and in this session today, we're going to talk about postmodern age in English literature. And we're going to cover its background, we're going to talk about its important writers, uh, and what were the key themes that were being discussed, that were being talked about, or that the writers were talking about in the postmodern age. Okay, let's start. Uh, Now, what marks the beginning of postmodern age? It is the Second World War. The ending of the Second World War actually, do you think it brought stability? No, it did not bring stability. The war never brings stability. Uh, World had seen the atomic age, right? We saw the dropping of the nuclear weapon on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945, and that's what marked the end of this Second World War. So, with this atomic bomb, the world was like, अब क्या हो सकता है, अब ये भी हो सकता है, अगर यहाँ गिर सकता है तो कहीं और भी गिरा सकते हैं, है ना? It was on the knife edge. The world might end at any moment. This was the kind of thing that if somebody is crazy enough, then yes, something bad can really happen. So ये जो threat है ना, it hung over the world. And even if you talk about political, the Iron Curtain, it was divided, it divided this world into communists and non-communists, right? So we see the transition from modern age to the post-modern age. Modernism, it's late 19th century till 1945, and that focused on, yes, it talked about some order, some kind of order, not everything was order. Of course, there was fragmentation because of the First World War, but it did talk about structure, high art, alienation. Individual perception was being talked about now. Postmodernism arises from World War II, reacting against what? Number one, very important, totalizing narratives. तो टोटलाइजिंग नैरेटिव्स मतलब जो ग्रैंड नैरेटिव्स होते हैं, जैसे लियोटार्ड एक बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट फिगर है व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट पोस्ट मॉडर्न थ्योरी ऑल्सो, राइट? तो टोटलाइजिंग नैरेटिव्स के अगेंस्ट हैं, मतलब लेट्स से व्हेन वी से दैट मार्क्सिज्म, लेट्स टेक एन एग्जांपल, मार्क्सिज्म, ट्रेडिशनल मार्क्सिज्म की अगर बात करें तो अगर आप फिक्स कर देते हो कि अच्छा ये है मार्क्सिज्म, ठीक है, ये एक दायरा है, दिस इज द बाउंड्री ऑफ मार्क्सिज्म एंड दिस इज व्हाट मार्क्सिज्म टॉक्स अबाउट, दैट्स अ टोटलाइजिंग नैरेटिव. आपने उसको फिक्स कर दिया. व्हेन यू से दैट नो, इट्स नॉट लिमिटेड टू, देयर इज नो मार्जिन टू इट, and it can be expanded to other forms, that is when you say that the narrative is not fixed. It is not a totalizing narrative. It can have other voices, other perceptions. तो इन्होंने, it was a reaction against the totalizing narratives. Religion को लेके हो, चाहे science को लेके हो, चाहे progress को लेके हो, the belief in absolute truth and objectivity was questioned. जो ग्रैंड आइडियोलॉजीज थी जैसे कि कैपिटलिज्म, मार्क्सिज्म, इनलाइटनमेंट, रैशनैलिटी, ऑल ऑफ दीज थिंग्स वर क्वेश्चन्ड इन द पोस्ट मॉडर्न थ्योरी. Now, the high turning point, as I told you, was Hiroshima and Nagasaki. आप सबने हिरोशिमा नागासाकी के बारे में सुना होगा. न्यूक्लियर बॉम्ब was dropped, Japan. It was completely destroyed. Even later, years and years after that, they say that the child sometimes is born with some kind of a deformity because of the radiations that bomb had produced there at that point of time. There was Cold War also. Rise of consumer culture was there, and globalization. Disillusionment with modernity's promises. The promises that modernity had gave us, there was a disillusionment with that too. ऐसा नहीं होगा. So the war accelerated the breakup of the British Empire also, it forced Great Britain a reassessment. Now, what is my place in the world? Because you all know World War, it was America, the US, that entered the World War, that took the decision of dropping the bomb also. Where was Britain's um, place now in the world. So they were reassessing that also. Who was the wartime prime minister? It was Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill. So after the Labour government was elected in 1945, so he devoted much of his time to writing one thing, which was a 6-volume history of. He wrote the Second World War. 6 volumes. History of the Second World War. This was from 1945 till 54 that he did this. And he also wrote a history of English speaking peoples. This was in 4 volumes from 1956 to 58. And he won the Nobel Prize in literature, for literature, when? In 1953. Nobel Prize. What are the key characteristics of postmodern literature? Number 1 is metafiction. Many a times in exam also, they ask question on metafiction. Metafiction is fiction about fiction, which is self-referential. When in the work, they are talking about the work itself. For example, John Fowles is the French lieutenant's woman. That's an example. Then they've spoken about pastiche. Pastiche is another characteristic, which is mixing genres, mixing styles and voices without hierarchy. For example, Margaret Atwood combines dystopia, science fiction, feminism, everything is there. That's an example of pastiche. Okay? We also find these terms in literary theory. Pastiche, metafiction, totalizing narratives, all of these. Then you find intertextuality. Texts which refer to other texts. For example, Angela Carter's The Bloody Chamber. It rewrites fairy tales. So there's, of course, a reference to other texts, other fairy tales. After that, we have temporal distortion, very important. Time has become a very important theme, but this time, it's the distortion of time. So you will find non-linear timelines. For example, Salman Rushdie's Midnight's Children. Magic realism. Realistic narrative, but with fantastical elements. For example, Rushdie, Janet Winterson, and the biggest name would be Marquez. Magical realism. Then you will find paranoia. Paranoia is literally, paranoia is when you are always doubtful about somebody's actions. Is he doing this to harm me? Is he doing this to belittle me? Always you're in that kind of a state of mind that you feel afraid, you're in doubt, you are paranoid about something, that somebody's going to harm you or somebody's just looking at you. So you will find in literature themes of surveillance, themes of control, conspiracy. For example, Thomas Pynchon's The Crying of Lot 99. Please make a note of these examples. They're very important to answer your questions regarding, you must have seen such kind of questions in the exam. Then hyper-reality. Baudrillard, हम लोग literary theory में भी पढ़ते हैं. So that also became one of the important themes here. It was blurring the lines between the reality and what is copy, what is simulation. It was a concept given by Baudrillard. For example, Don DeLillo's White Noise is a nice example. Playfulness and irony you will find. So no absolute meaning in whatever is happening, and a playful subversion of everything. बहुत सारे वर्क्स में आपको ये मिलेगा. And fragmentation तो is there. What is the difference between the fragmentation that you will find after First World War, which is in modern age, and the postmodern age? Modern age, there was this fragmentation that they showed was something that they were running away from. But postmodern age writers are accepting this fragmentation. And that's the major difference. Disruption of form, जानबूझ के वो disrupt कर रहे हैं अब form को, character को, plot को. For example, B.S. Johnson's The Unfortunates, it was published in a box. Unreliable narrator, this had started earlier. Even in the modern age, you will find unreliable narrator. For example, James Joyce, what is his name? Heart of Darkness wale, Conrad. So challenges the idea of narrative authority. For example, Kazuo Ishiguro, very important, The Remains of the Day. ठीक है, तो ये कुछ characteristics you will find in the writings of the postmodern age. Identity also becomes a very, very important theme, okay? Sexual identity ho ya local identity, national, racial, spiritual, intellectual, all of these kinds of identities and more. They are recurring themes in the postmodern age. Major British postmodern writers and works. Let's see. We have Angela Carter, The Bloody Chamber, 1979, feminist Gothic rewritings of fairy tales. So, Angela Carter has used magic realism, feminism, intertextuality, a mixture. Julian Barnes, Flaubert's Parrot. It's a blend of biography, fiction, and essay. So, you will find subjectivity, historiography, ambiguity in Julian Barnes's works. John Fowles, French lieutenant's woman, many a times even in the exam he's been asked. Metafictional Victorian pastiche you will find. It offers multiple endings. So this was a previous year question. Which of the following works has multiple endings? It's John Fowles's The French Lieutenant Woman. आपको जो पसंद आए वो ले लो. Author की intrusions भी मिलती हैं. We have Janet Winterson, Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit, again previous year question. Lesbian identity and biblical parody hai. Sexing the Cherry, it's about time travel, gender and magic realism. Ian McEwan, early short stories like First Love, Last Rites, they show postmodern grotesque. And later, he moves towards realism, like Atonement, again previous year question. But there is postmodern self-awareness now in works like Atonement. Mardynamis, we have Money, London Fields, Excess Capitalism, Media Culture. So very satirical, very important writer Mardynamis. Paranoia, he will show. Self-referential works he has written. Okay. We also have, when we talk about the postmodern age, we have to talk about the global voices here. Because now there is a blend. We can't really only talk about the British writers when it comes to the postmodern age. We have to talk about the global voices. So most important ones here, Thomas Pynchon, Gravity's Rainbow, Don DeLillo, White Noise, Margaret Atwood, The Handmaid's Tale, Salman Rushdie, Midnight's Children, Umberto Eco, The Name of the Roses. I think last time, even Umberto Eco, previous year question was there. Now we talk, so I'm just giving you an overview in this lecture. Of course, we are going to move into details in our paid lectures in the following ones. This is an overview of everything basically. Then we have postmodern theory and criticism. So we have some very important names here as well. So we have Jean-Francois Lyotard, who wrote The Postmodern Condition, 1979. This is, I mean, postmodern का जो शुरुआत है या हम बोल सकते हैं ना, when we speak about postmodernity, we have to talk about Lyotard. He gave this to us through this work, the postmodern condition. If any one of you is new here, let me tell you about my paid course here, because we're going to discuss it here later on. So we have our course going on. Of course, it has reached postmodern age now, and hardly 2 months, less than 2 months are left for the exam now. So if you are in the final stage of your preparation, you can take up this MCQ course that I'm offering. It's not a course, basically it's MCQs subscription. What I do is I give a few writers daily, 4 to 5 writers daily to prepare, and we have it's on Telegram itself, because we have a feature of quiz, so we do quiz there. But it's very effective. There are good high level challenging questions that you can take up. It's good for your preparation. I always believe at least the last 2 months should be like that, कि आपको कोई दे रहा है MCQs, आप प्रिपेयर कर रहे हो 5 राइटर्स, आपको पता है कल मुझे देने हैं, तो it's a good way of preparation. So any one of you interested, please let me know, and you can join. And any one of you is preparing for the December exam, NET English, I'll be beginning, of course, with a fresh batch also. Let me know and we can plan out together. You will find the details in the description box, how you can contact me. Okay, back to Lyotard. Now, Lyotard was the one who rejected the grand narratives, the totalizing narratives. And he said, आप emphasize करो fragmentation पे, multiplicity पे, और performativity पे. Then we had Jean Baudrillard, who talked about simulacra and simulation. So we have spoken about Baudrillard, we have spoken about Lyotard in our classes of theory. Hyper-reality, media and science replace reality. So he says that, we can't really find out in this world around us what is a copy and what is real anymore. That's what he says. Hyper-reality. Copies की भी copies आ गई हैं. Original copy seems to be original now. For example, he takes the example of Disneyland. Okay. Then the next writer is Fredric Jameson. Fredric Jameson. Now, we talked about pastiche, right? So, Fredric Jameson was the one who actually spoke about pastiche in postmodern theory, especially in his work called Postmodernism, or the cultural logic of late capitalism. So, what does Fredric Jameson do? He sees postmodernism as a product of consumer capitalism. Now, in this context, what is pastiche? He says that it's a blank parody. हम लोग यूजुअली पैरडी करते हैं एक पर्टिकुलर टू गिव अ पर्टिकुलर रिजल्ट, to mock somebody or to criticize somebody, whereas pastiche is different. Pastiche is blank parody. It's a form of imitation which is without satire. आप simply एक चीज़ को imitate कर रहे हो, but you are not satirizing, you are not giving any irony or any critical distance. There's no critical distance also. It mimics styles from the past, but it lacks the original's depth or purpose. So what happens is it results in superficial collage of historical styles. So it differs from parody. Parody mock करता है, pastiche neutral है. ठीक है? So pastiche replaces parody and history becomes stylized nostalgia. For example, retro fiction. Next name is Linda Hutcheon. इनका work है A Poetics of Postmodernism. What are the key terms? We have historiographic metafiction. What is that? It's a fiction that questions history through storytelling. Very interesting. For example, we have The English Patient by Michael Ondaatje. Next. Now, we have, what are the genres and modes in literature? We have historiographic metafiction again. You just saw what it is. So, it combines history with self-aware fiction. Cli-fi. What is that? Climate change fiction. So you must have seen these days, we have certain works which talk about climate change. They are called climate change, and of course, if it is not non-fiction, cli-fi is climate change fiction with postmodern uncertainty. For example, Margaret Atwood had written Mad Adam trilogy. Then you also have digital and post-digital literature in the world of digitalization. They are works that use or reflect on digital formats. For example, it will talk about hypertext novels. Okay? Now, I've put down here a note on what you should focus from the exam point of view. So, area, example, note, theory and criticism. We have Lyotard, Jameson, Baudrillard, Hutcheon. ये आपके इनकी टर्म्स क्या हैं? मेटाफिक्शन, intertextuality, hyperreality, historiographic metafiction. These are from the theory and criticism part. Then we have British authors like Carter, Barnes, Fowles, Winterson, Amis, McEwan. Comparative context में we have Rushdie, Indo-British, Atwood, Canadian, Pynchon from the US. Okay, and I have also put down few questions for you. Which of the following best exemplifies historiographic metafiction? So we just saw, okay, थोड़ा ऊपर नीचे हो गया. I'll give this to you in the comment section. I'll put down the questions actually, and you can write down the answers for me. So this is an overview of the postmodern age. Of course, this is not exhaustive list. Okay, I've just put down the most important writers here, and when we talk about it in detail, we are going to divide it into drama, fiction, non-fiction. So when we talk about drama in the postmodern age, we have to talk about Samuel Beckett, right? He's one very important name here, Waiting for Godot. And we have to talk about Harold Pinter, Birthday Party. We have to talk about Terence Rattigan, French Without Tears. And then John Osborne when it comes to 1950s. 1950s was the time of these writers like John Osborne, Look Back in Anger, who were talking about how the working class people are in a very, very bad state. So he puts that forward. So we have Angry Young Men. Angry Young Men. So 1950s it starts, remember. Other works like Luther he has written. Then we move on to the works like The Caretaker, Homecoming, The Dumb Waiter. They are very important works. Edward Bond. Edward Bond wrote these works like Saved, Lear. Lear was also a previous year question. So he has taken Shakespeare's tragedies and in a very interesting way he has actually put the character of Shakespeare on the stage. In the work Bingo, इनका Edward Bond का work है Bingo. In Bingo he puts Shakespeare, the character of Shakespeare on the stage. Even Ben Jonson. So they both are talking in the as characters in the work. Then we have writers like Carlyle Churchill, Cloud9, Top Girls, right? Liz Lockhead, some of the women writers. Actually, when it comes to the postmodern age and the contemporary writers, you'll find more of women writers now. So you won't really see a separate section for women writings because we have a lot of them now. So similarly, you talk about the poetry. And when it comes to poetry, you talk about the poetry of the Second World War. So we have W.H. Auden and Christopher Isherwood. ये लोग American citizens बन गए थे, but yeah, they were still writing. And H.G. Wells was still writing here. ठीक है? And then similarly, अच्छा वो W.H. Auden also wrote a very important work which was The Age of Anxiety. It was a long dramatic poem. Shields of Achilles, Homage to Cleo, है ना? Then Dylan Thomas. So these were the major poets of the age, and similarly we'll talk about the novelists of the postmodern age also. So it's long. It doesn't really end like that. I've just given you again an overview here, and in the following lectures, some of course we can do here also as free lectures, and others we'll be doing in the paid lectures. Okay. And again, if you wish to take up the subscription, whether it is MCQs that you want to practice or you want to take up the full course itself starting right now, even for December, if you're preparing, it's a very good decision to make. Let me know and we'll talk about it. Okay? I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.